I want to start today by sharing a bold and hopefully very liberating truth with you. You absolutely do not need an orchard to grow your own fruit. In fact, you don't even need a garden. If you've always believed that a bountiful harvest requires sprawling lawns and deep soil, I am absolutely thrilled to tell you that a patio, a balcony, or just a sunny doorstep is genuinely all the space you need. We're going to dive right into this today and discover how you can grow real, substantial harvests of fruit right in a pot. This quote right here is the absolute foundation of what we're talking about. You see, the fruit tree industry has spent the better part of a century developing something called dwarfing rootstocks. These were created specifically to remove that massive barrier of tree size while keeping the fruiting capacity almost completely intact. It really is a marvel of horticulture. And hey, I want to plant a little seed of curiosity for you right now. The ninth and final tree on our list today is one that most gardeners in the UK and northern USA assume is completely impossible to grow in a container in our climate. But it produces one of the most rewarding harvests of all. I'll reveal it at the end. But first, let's understand the magic that makes all of this possible.
Okay, this beautifully illustrates the secret. Every single tree we look at today relies on this really simple concept. A fruit tree is actually two plants joined together. The bottom part, the rootstock, acts as the tree's brakes. It controls exactly how large the tree is going to grow. The top part, the grafted variety, determines what the fruit tastes and looks like. This single piece of horticultural technology means a standard 60-liter patio pot is suddenly all the earth you need. You get the exact same delicious fruit, but on a beautifully manageable scale.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this height, 1.5 to 2.5 meters. I really want to reassure you, your container trees will never grow taller than a person. You won't be teetering on tall ladders to prune or pick your fruit. Everything remains perfectly manageable, easily accessible, and entirely within your reach. It makes the joy of harvesting genuinely relaxing, which, let's face it, is exactly how gardening should feel. The apple is really where every container journey should begin. They're wonderfully forgiving trees. You'll want an M27 or an M9 rootstock. M27 is the most dwarfing, keeping the tree beautifully compact in that standard 60-liter pot. For varieties, Gala and Braeburn are outstanding choices. But I have to say, my absolute favorite is Discovery. It's an early season English apple with this beautiful pink flesh. Now, because it doesn't store well commercially, it has largely vanished from supermarket shelves, so growing it yourself in a pot is just about the only way you can still experience its incredible fresh flavor. And honestly, you can expect 10 to 30 plus apples once it's established. It's a lovely, reassuring way to start. Moving on to the beautiful pear grown on a quincy rootstock. Planted in that same 60-liter container, pears bring a genuinely different architectural beauty to your patio. They are very elegant, upright trees. The varieties Conference, Concord, and the really incredible tasting Doyen du Camis are perfect choices. Now, one thing to keep in mind, pears almost always need a pollination partner, so you'll want two compatible trees nearby to get that wonderful harvest of 15 to 25 fruits. Oh, and a quick reminder, as beautiful as these are, the most unexpected tree on our list is still waiting for you at number 9. Plums grown on a pixie rootstock are genuinely so rewarding because they're the earliest and most abundant croppers. Varieties like Victoria, Opal, and Czar are self-fertile, meaning a single 60-liter pot on your doorstep will fruit all on its own without needing any partner at all. They are so eager to produce fruit, in fact, that you can sometimes get 20 to 40 plums from just one container. But here's a slightly surprising tip for you. You often have to manually thin out the young fruit in early summer. If you don't, the branches can actually snap under the sheer weight of their own bounty. It's a wonderful problem to have, really. Historically, cherries were these 10-meter giants, completely impossible for a small garden. But this specific rootstock, the Gisla 5, completely transformed them into manageable trees that absolutely thrive in a 60-liter patio pot. Varieties like Stella and Sunburst give you beautifully sweet dark fruit, while Morello is just perfect for baking. You can genuinely expect 5 to 10 kilograms of fruit. I will give you one affectional warning, though. Birds love cherries exactly as much as we do, so you absolutely must net the tree as the fruit ripens, or you're just going to be running a very luxurious bird feeder. And remember, keep that 9th tree in the back of your mind. We are getting closer. So we've covered the classic orchard fruits, and they are wonderful, no doubt. But I want you to keep this in mind as we transition now into fruits that feel, well, a little bit more exotic, a little more adventurous. What we're about to look at will truly change your perspective on what a simple container can achieve. Yes, you really can grow a genuinely tropical-tasting peach in a temperate climate right there in a 60-liter pot. You look for a genetic dwarf, like the Bonanza or Garden Lady, which naturally stay tiny, or a St. Julian A rootstock for varieties like Avalon Pride. The spring blossom on these is absolutely gorgeous. Now, because they flower so early in spring, often way before the bees are fully awake, here is a delightful little secret. You can actually become the bee. Just take a soft little paintbrush and gently tickle the inside of the early blooms to hand pollinate them. It's a very peaceful, mindful task that guarantees you those 15 to 30 glorious peaches. Fakes, however, break the rules in the very best way possible. They don't actually need a dwarfing rootstock at all. Instead, the container itself does all the work. If you plant a fig in open ground, the roots just wander endlessly, making lots of leaves but very little fruit. But by deliberately restricting its roots in a 60-liter pot, you actually force the tree into panic mode, making it prioritize fruit production. Varieties like brown turkey or violet de Bordeaux will reward this root restriction with 15 to 30 incredible figs. It's literally the one tree that actually prefers the pot to the ground. And yes, we are now just 2 trees away from our impossible 9th reveal. It is officially time to dismantle the assumption that apricots demand a Mediterranean climate. They really don't. Grown on a St. Julian A or Pixie rootstock, placed securely in your 60-liter pot, varieties like Tomcat or Moorpark just need a sunny wall and a little bit of fleece protection if there's a late spring frost. They're wonderfully self-fertile, so you only need 1 container to get a harvest of 10 to 25 sweet, warm apricots. There is just such immense joy in creating these single-tree spaces that give you so much in return. Now for dwarf citrus, let's slow down just a little bit and really appreciate the senses here. These are naturally compact and simply cannot be grown in the open ground in cooler climates, so a 60-liter container is your absolute only option. We're looking at the Calamandan orange, the dwarf Meyer lemon, and the wonderful kumquat, which you actually eat whole, sweet skin and all. In the winter, when you bring these indoors to protect them from the frost, the scent of a single lemon blossom will literally fill a whole room with the most beautiful fragrance. It is pure magic. Now, the most surprising tree of all is coming up next. The one most people assume is simply impossible in our climate. So what is it? What could possibly follow? Apples, cherries, peaches, and citrus. I know that for many of you, your gardening experience tells you that this next fruit belongs exclusively to the hot, dry hills of California or the Mediterranean. You might assume it has absolutely no place on a breezy, temperate patio. But it is the dwarf almond. I know, this sounds surprising, but here's the brilliant secret. Almonds belong to the exact same botanical family as peaches and plums. And plant breeders have developed a remarkable self-fertile variety called all-in-one, specifically for cooler climates. In early spring, before the leaves even appear, your 60-liter pot will cover itself in the most spectacular soft pink blossom you have ever seen. And by autumn, you will be harvesting an astonishing 5 to 10 kilograms of fresh almonds in their shells right from your patio. It is absolute proof that our assumptions about what is possible in a small, temperate garden are very often wonderfully wrong. So how do we make all this happen? It is beautifully simple. First, the single most important decision is choosing the right dwarf rootstock and variety, just like we've covered today. Second, give your tree a good home, a 60-liter pot with free draining compost. That size really is the sweet spot for nearly every tree we've discussed. And third, just be a good friend to it. Feed and water it consistently through the summer. I encourage you with all my heart to not feel overwhelmed. Just pick one single tree to start with this season. Just one. I want you to remember this. A full harvest of real fruit is truly possible from a single pot on a patio, a balcony, or a sunny doorstep. You have all the space you need right now. If this explainer has inspired you to start your own container orchard, please give it a like and hit subscribe so you never miss what we're learning next. And please, leave a comment below telling me which of these 9 trees you're going to try first. I read every single comment, and I genuinely cannot wait to hear what you choose. Happy growing, my friends. Take care.